Damichael, what is scarier than Frankenstein, Dracula, and all of the other horrifying monsters of your nightmares put together?
I don't think anything could be scarier than that, Joe. What could possibly be scarier than that?
John Conchar and Jock Landale playing together for significant amounts of minutes. You fell right into it. We're going to talk about all sorts of terrifying things on this Halloween edition of Locked On Grizzlies. Let's lock in. I got you good.
You are Locked On Grizzlies, your daily Memphis Grizzlies podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It is Friday. You have got to get down on a Friday, especially a Friday where it's Halloween. Happy Halloween to all who celebrate. Eat some candy. Watch some Grizzlies basketball tonight because it's the Cup. For no other reason other than watching because it is the NBA Cup. I can't wait to get into a vigorous debate with Damichael about how stupid the NBA Cup is later on in the show. But I'm getting ahead of myself. It is a Halloween episode of Locked On Grizzlies. And as the wise philosopher Rebecca Black once said, you have got to get down on a Friday. We are going to have fun. Looking forward to the weekend on this edition of the show. Damichael Cole, my wonderful co-host, Memphis Grizzlies beat writer for the Commercial Appeal there in Memphis, Tennessee, is with me. I am Joe Mullinax, and we're having fun, as we always do on these Friday editions of the show. Make sure that you are checking out our wonderful sponsor for this edition of the show, FanDuel. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts. Like, comment, rate, review, subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google, YouTube. Make Damichael and I are part of your NBA and Memphis Grizzlies content consumption each and every time that an episode drops. Now, Damichael, good to see you again, partner. As always, you did a great job in my absence, my sleepy absence. The Grizzlies with a big game-winning shot from one Morant, a tremendous win for the team. If you had told me that they were going to be 3-2 through 5 games, given how many players are out for them, that's a win. I don't know how you can sum it up as anything other than a success for the Memphis Grizzlies that they are 3-2 going into this game tonight with the Los Angeles Lakers. Forgive me. It's not just any game. It's for the Cup, brother, right? The NBA Cup is
That's right. It's not just any game, John.
Right. It's an NBA Cup game.
That's right.
But anyway,
one of us is being sarcastic. One of you guys can figure it out.
Very sarcastic. If you can't tell from YouTube and my facial features or wherever else you listen to podcasts, my general demeanor. If you're an everydayer, you know I have a vast, very strong disdain for the NBA Cup. And we're going to talk more about that later in the show. But I do want to get to some scary on this Halloween. I promise it won't be a fully Halloween-themed show here. But some scary Memphis Grizzlies overreactions. Some things that are such hot takes that perhaps it will spook our dear listener, our dear viewer. I don't want to scare them too much, Damichael, but I do have a pretty intense take that I am willing and ready to completely and totally let rip if you'll allow me to do so.
Come on, let it rip, Joe. What we got?
It's time to bench Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. It's time to bench Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
5 games?
Here's my why, okay? Because they clearly refused to bench Jock Landale. That is literally the only reason. You have to play Cedric Coward more. The Phoenix Suns game was a great example of that. It seems like every time, and I think John Roser talked about this in the post game, every time the Grizzlies start a game, it seems like they start slow. They're down, 4-8, 5-12, whatever the score is. And then lo and behold, here comes Cedric, I'm not a coward, and he lines up. And he is the spark each and every time. And you might be sitting there thinking, well, Joe, why don't you just keep him as a reserve if that is the case? Well, riddle me this, my wonderful partner. Wouldn't it be nice if you just started off that way? Wouldn't it be cool to just have a lead 2 or 3 minutes into the game and build upon that from there? Cedric Coward is clearly the story of the Grizzlies season so far. I believe that it is time to pull that trigger. If you want to argue for Jalen Wells, I could hear that argument too. I would go with KCP because he's a veteran who I think can help bring a steadying presence to that reserve group. And I want to make something very clear. My number one choice is Jock Landale. But because of the system, which we'll talk more about here in a little bit, I don't think that's going to occur. But that's my hot take. I think it's time for KCP to come off the bench. Cedric Coward should be a starter, you cowards.
Wow. Okay. Look, and at the end of the day, I'm very much along the same lines of Cedric Coward will eventually be starting for the Memphis Grizzlies.
It should happen right now.
Yeah,
that's my hot take.
Yeah, I don't think that one is too bad. Mine might be. This might be the rare time that I have a hotter take than Joe Mullinax.
A spicier take than me.
I didn't even think it, and it's truly scary.
Well, it certainly can't involve John Conchar because white rice is not spicy at all.
It doesn't involve John Conchar. I don't know what the Grizzlies are going to do with Gigi Jackson.
Oh, snap.
I don't get it anymore. I
don't get it anymore.
I am at the point, Joe, where I am scared of the idea that a fresh start just might be better for him.
Wow.
I look when
that is spicy.
Look, when you talk about the things that have been emphasized, right? He came in last year. He got stronger, after he broke his foot and things like that, and got off to the rough start when he got back and really did get in the rotation. And then year 3 comes along this year. He's still the youngest player on the roster, which people tend to remind you, around the Grizzlies. So there is this sort of sense of be patient with them. But
if one more year in college, correct me if I'm wrong, he would technically be like a college junior right now or college senior, something.
I believe
like that?
He'd be entering his senior year. I believe it would be. No, this is his. Yeah. He would be going into his senior year. This would be his senior year.
But he'd be a very young senior if he was
because he leveled up a year. So
right.
If he didn't reclassify, he'd be a junior. Playing at the collegiate level right now if he didn't reclassify. But yes, it's hard for me to see what exactly is the role. We saw Gigi Jackson, and this is where it got puzzling for me. We saw Gigi Jackson in that final preseason game come in the fourth quarter and completely change that game against Miami Heat. Instant offense, defense. In the preseason, we were talking about, the lack of rim protection. This is not to say he's some great rim protector, but Gigi Jackson was one of the guys that got a couple of highlight blocks in the preseason because of that 6'9" size. He's a leaper. And quite frankly, you look at the Grizzlies team. I mean, Ja Morant's out there, but the guys in the rotation, you don't just think, dynamic athleticism when you see this team. To me, the athleticism of this team, and I don't want people to take this the wrong way too much, but it reminds me more of like Wisconsin Badgers football. Like you see it. You see it. It's the truth.
Ooh.
Now Wisconsin.
You Badgers, are coming in hot.
Wisconsin Badgers football. Now you've had some Monty Ball, James White, and Melvin Gordon. Like they've had some dudes. Don't get it twisted. But at the end of the day, that's not a get off the bus. Like you got a bunch of 40-inch vertical type guys staring you in the face. Those guys, other than Ja Morant for the most part, Omax, he's on the bench. Gigi Jackson, he's on the bench. But look, the wing rotation is what it is. Jalen Wells is going to play. Contavious Caldwell-Pope is going to play. Cedric Coward is going to play. When Ty Jerome gets back, he's going to play. So it's like Gigi Jackson isn't even getting minutes right now. What's going to happen when the team is healthier? And then it's like, okay, that'll be 3 years at this point. He has one more year potentially left on this contract. And it's like, I'm struggling to figure out what's the role here. Like, what do they want from him? I'm fine with, like, I guess this big emphasis on wanting him to be, this defensive option and whatnot. But as much as you talk about that, I can advocate just as much the fact that the Grizzlies don't have, as much of an offensive scoring punch with self-creators when Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. are out the game. We talked about that a ton. Gigi Jackson can do that. Now, is he the most efficient guy in that realm? Not yet. But he's shown. I mean, we saw it in the last game that he really got really good time in the Miami Heat preseason game. And he was in a rotation of the Miami Heat regular season game too, which the Grizzlies actually got blew out in. But yeah, I don't get it. I don't know what the role, and to be clear here, this is not something that the Grizzlies internally have been, led me to believe. Everything that I hear from the Grizzlies is they still believe in GG Jackson. This is more of my thoughts. Like, I don't know. I look, he can score the basketball, and we're complaining about when John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr. at the game, the lack of scoring that you could get, and you got this guy off the bench who averaged 14.6 points per game as a rookie, but he hasn't got the time since then because of injuries, because of the rotation and whatnot. But look, I'm just struggling to see, like what the role will be in Memphis for him long term. I can't really see it anymore like I did once upon a time.
Let us know in the comments. Let us know on X at Damichael C at Joe Mullinax. I think I got to agree with my wonderful co-host. That's a spicier take than mine.
Oh, I thought you were
saying what a lot of people are saying. Cedric Coward needs to start. What made mine spicy was taking the veteran and putting him in that veteran role. Again, you can make an argument for Jalen Wells. I would still argue for Jock Landale. Damichael is saying he doesn't see the GG Jackson fit potentially anymore. How does that work moving forward? I think that's something we can dig into a little bit deeper next week on the podcast. I like that. We're going to save that one. That's pretty good. So what's your scary Grizzlies overreaction? Let us know on X. Hit us up in the comments. When we come back here on Locked On Grizzlies, we are going to continue our conversation, taking a look at if you've noticed a change in the Grizzlies offense from last year, you're not alone. It is indeed as drastic as you think. We'll talk about what we mean coming up next here on Locked On Grizzlies. Today's episode of Locked On Grizzlies is brought to you by Robinhood. Your ambition just met its match. With Robinhood, you play for the win, not just on game day. Every day, locking in on every opening, beating your PR, beating it again. Channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks and Fs, options, futures, and crypto all in one platform. You can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood Legends advanced tools, or take advantage of the new Robinhood strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself, expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney, your money, your move. Today's episode of Locked On Grizzlies is also brought to you by DoorDash. The NBA season is heating up. It's cup season, baby. And DoorDash has found the perfect way to keep fans in their bag all season long. Whether you're watching for the highlights, your fantasy team, or just your favorite player, DoorDash makes every game night even better. DoorDash is the official on-demand delivery platform of the NBA, and they're celebrating with something called the Bag Drop. Every time an NBA player scores 50 points in a game, DoorDash drops 50% off your order with Dash Pass the next day, and you're automatically entered for a chance to win the ultimate fan bag. We are talking player-inspired drip, exclusive gear, and stuff you'll actually want. DoorDash has you covered for late-night highlights, last-minute watch parties, and double overtime fuel-up. So next time somebody goes off for 50, use the promo code NBA50, and you will get 50% off on DoorDash with Dash Pass, plus your shot at the bag drop. Dash Pass members only, 50% off up to $10 the next day after a 50-point game with promo code. Terms apply. No purchase necessary. Ends April 13th. Open to United States residents 21 or older. Visit DoorDashInYourBag.com for full details. DoorDash, in your bag all season long. Hanging out here on Locked On Grizzlies, a Halloween edition of the show. Myself and my wonderful co-host, Damichael Cole and Damichael.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious if you saw, and by curious, I already know because I saw it from your social media, more so not necessarily what you saw, but how you took this data from the All NBA podcast at allcity_NBA here. Change in on-ball picks set per 100 possessions from last season. For the Memphis Grizzlies and last season, now we have to remember Noah LaRoche was the coach. I believe you might have made that point on social media. And we'll talk more about that in a second. I'll let you elaborate. But obviously the offense has changed to Masisalo, much more screen focused and pick on-ball picks in particular. The Grizzlies set 41.7 picks per 100 possessions last season. This season, that number has jumped to 71.8. That is a change of 30.1. The next closest team to Michael Cole, the Oklahoma City Thunder, who jumped from 62.4 to 73.4. That is a change of 11. So the Grizzlies have almost tripled their next closest competitor for this particular statistic in terms of a change of setting more picks in an offensive game. Again, if you're watching the games, even if you're watching highlights, that is very evident, right? It's the reason that Jock Landale is seen as so vital, even though he's absolutely not vital in any way, shape, or form. No offense to Jock Landale. I'm sure he's a perfectly nice person. He's not as good as other players that are getting time similar to Jock Landale, but because he is able to be that screen setter, at least theoretically speaking. And when he is that screen setter, it allows for somebody like a Ja Morant to achieve at their highest level. They are all in with this, regardless of personnel. It's about the system, Damichael Cole.
Yeah, it's definitely about the system from that regard. And Joe, just look, you coming down a little bit hard on Jock Landale today. Let's remember, you always got to add the context when you talk about Jock Landale. This was a guy when you brought him in, he was supposed to be your third center. He's been put in a situation where he's never played this many minutes for any team. So I
think I'm more hard on the decision, kind of going back to what we talked about earlier in the show.
The J-Ho?
I'm more hard on the coaching staff not playing their best guys. Like
okay.
Jock Landale.
Okay. I got you.
I'm again, Jock Landale as an end of bench plays 8 to 10 minutes a night when he has to, because Zach Edey is in foul trouble. That's all very fair. I agree with that completely.
Okay.
But you don't have to be so married to the system that you're playing an inferior player when somebody else who is better than that player could get increased minutes and increased run. I've gone so far recently as to say a John Conchar has played well enough to start this season that I would give more minutes to him than Jock Landale. But again, it's the prioritization of the system to this point over the player. And again, they're 3-2, they're having success, they're doing it with multiple injuries. You don't want to completely crush something that literally the season just began. We're still in October, right?
Yeah.
And at the same time, I just struggle with the system being prioritized so heavily. Maybe I'm in the wrong for that.
No. I hear you. Now, getting back to the on-ball screens that we were just talking about. I mean, the Grizzlies, it is a drastic change for them. And we kind of expected this, right? I mean, how many times did we say the word screens over the course of the summer leading into the season as something that would be very clearly and evidently different about this team? And the numbers are reflecting that so far. And the thing about it is it's a situation where the league is almost starting to trend towards what the Grizzlies were doing last season. Now, let's get into that a little bit more, because this is a tough situation, right? We know how Grizzlies fans, for the most part, and we could say the Grizzlies organization, because they canned the offense after like 70 games. They didn't even finish it for a full season. So we know that the offense didn't get quote unquote rave reviews at the end of the day in Memphis, like when you got to the 24th hour or whatever the case may be. But Joe, if you just peel the layers back, and Tomas Islo himself has said he's an offensive rating guy. That's his numbers, offensive rating, defensive rating. You look at the Grizzlies' offensive rating from last season, they were top 10 in the NBA. They were a top 10 NBA offense. Now, you can dig a little bit deeper. Okay, Damichael, show me the numbers when they played the more physical teams, the Timberwolves, the OKCs of the world, and things like that. And I brought that up because I would say you got a fair point to make. But one thing that I did believe was that the Grizzlies, as constructed at the time, weren't the best suitable offense for that. And that's something that Joe Mullinax himself has talked about. I got to shout you out for this one, because Ja Morant being your star player and the system not being catered to his strengths, it was very much something that it just couldn't work in Memphis. Now, to Jaren Jackson Jr., he was playing better, and that's why we was talking about it in yesterday's episode. Now that you're setting more screens and things like that, Jaren's numbers have went down a little bit, because as Joe Mullinax, you pointed it out a couple years ago, Jaren was not very good in pick and roll and has not been over the course of his career, but they're emphasizing it a little bit more. The change is notable not just because Memphis has completely shifted from what it did last season. It's notable because you pointed something out, right? You said that the Grizzlies are sitting 30 more screens. The next highest is 11, yes, but there are only like 9 teams that are setting more screens,
right? Yeah,
than last season. The rest of the league is trending in a complete different direction, and no team more than one that we saw the Grizzlies play earlier this season. And he scored 146 against the Grizzlies. The Miami Heat. The Miami Heat are setting 49.2 less screens, on-ball screens, than last season. And you know who's over there with the Miami Heat now? It's Noah LaRoche.
About to say, not Taylor Jenkins.
It ain't Taylor Jenkins. It ain't Taylor Jenkins. It's Noah LaRoche, who had a big, heavy hand in the Grizzlies system last season. So, yeah, look, the system wasn't catered probably to the best of the Grizzlies' strengths. To say the system didn't work, I would probably disagree with that because, I mean, look, at the end of the day, they were a top 10 offense. That's just the facts. But now, did it work against the best teams? No, but overall, like it's clearly something that can be successful in the league. And I think that was something that, you know, maybe people in Memphis felt like, this won't work in the NBA. And I think we're seeing now a lot of people in the NBA disagree with that notion because you're starting to see more teams shift towards that. So it's one of those things, Joe, where the Grizzlies are zigging, the league is zagging. Last season, they were zagging the other way. Now they're zigging, and the rest of the league is zagging.
I think it's going to be fascinating once Tyler Hero is back for Miami, how they're going to integrate him in there.
He's going to be the job probably.
but again, if you view Hero through the lens of the Desmond Bane, who had a good offensive season, and you look at Bam as the Jaren, because especially with Rozier out now, it's not like Miami has this dominant star point guard, right?
Yeah, you can bet on that. Yeah.
If the system fits Miami better, maybe they're able to run it more impactfully throughout the entire course of the season. When your best player is your point guard and you're running an NBA modern offense that is not prioritizing that player getting into actions consistently off of screens, it's just not the most rational thing to do. So system versus fit versus personnel, not just an issue in Memphis or something to keep an eye on. It's an NBA-wide thing. But again, I do think you're right. They might have just been a little bit ahead of the curve because the rise in screens is definitely not as noticeable as the decline in screens league-wide. Hit up Damichael on X at Damichael C. Let me know on X at Joe Mullinax. How are you feeling about this new look Grizzlies offense? Obviously having some success in spots, obviously not having as many success in spots or many successes. But you know what? That's all going to change tonight because everybody's going to play with so much effort and so much heart. Because I know you know this, Damichael. It is about the NBA Cup, Lakers, Grizzlies, for all the proverbial marbles.
Stay up, Joe Mullinax.
Fit inside of the NBA Cup. We're going to talk about the ridiculousness of this stupid tournament next here on Locked On Grizzlies. Stick around. This episode of Locked On Grizzlies is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the National Basketball Association. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Go and check them out today. It's Joe Mullinax and Damichael Cole with you, closing out this Friday Halloween edition of Locked On Grizzlies. Thank you to everybody for making this a successful month here on Locked On Grizzlies. Lots and lots of growth compared to last year and obviously earlier during the dog days of the offseason. It's good to see our tiny little corner of the internet continuing to grow at a good rate. So thank you guys for making Damichael and I a part of your everyday NBA and Memphis Grizzlies content consumption. We'll be back on Monday, and I'm sure one of the things that we'll be discussing, Damichael, will be your favorite thing in the entire NBA calendar, the NBA Cup. Now, that might be a bit of hyperbole there, and I will allow you to, obviously state your case. This is one of the dumbest things that the NBA does, okay? And I want to stress,
Joe, get off my lawn. Mullinax is in the building.
I want to stress that I also think it's one of the most successful things that Adam Silver has ever completed. And both of those things can be true at the same time because, again, if you're an everydayer to Locked On Grizzlies, you know that I personally believe that Adam Silver is the worst commissioner in professional sports in the entire North American continent. The events of the last few weeks certainly bear that out, whether you're looking in Los Angeles or Portland or Miami. Where's Terry Rozier? Is he playing basketball right now? Oh, that's funny, right? All of these things that are currently occurring in and around the periphery of the NBA, you know who they don't surprise, Damichael Cole? Me. Because in the absence of leadership, all sorts of crazy things are going to happen. So when I say that the NBA Cup is one of his successes, it might sound like a compliment, but nay, it is not. It is a ridiculous-looking court. Games that are played on Amazon Prime now for some reason, because that's supposed to make them more important. I have to find another app to open. This is something that is an attempt to make early season basketball and games before Christmas seem more significant. And I do think that Adam Silver deserves credit because for some people this has worked, right? The numbers are up. There's no denying that. How that translates to streaming is going to be interesting to see. But there's no denying that there has been some success with the NBA Cup. The Grizzlies play the Lakers. The Grizzlies injury report looked remarkably clean compared to what it has the last couple of games. All of a sudden, Luka Doncic,
it's time to play.
Luka be out for an entire week, but I guess Adam Silver made the call. Nah, dude, it's about the cup. And here comes Luka Doncic, apparently going to be hooping for the Lakers potentially tonight in Memphis. I am so curious, Damichael, A, why you like this stupid tournament, and B, how much you think this actually plays into the Grizzlies. Like, to me, they should want to beat the Lakers on a Friday night in Memphis because it's a game during the season. But do you think there actually is going to be, because you'll be in the building, I'm sure. Will there be a different energy to you? Will there be a different vibe around this 3-2 Grizzlies team trying to limit the red hot Austin Reeves and his, until Luka Doncic returns, Los Angeles Lakers?
You just set this up like you just. I think the NBA Cup was a good idea. Now, and if you remember, Joe, at the beginning, I was not a fan. So I am someone who has evolved. Joe Mullinax, he's not going to evolve in this situation. But I was not a big proponent of this because I guess you could call me a traditionalist or something in this sense of the world, that I like the fact that, but I'm a basketball guy. I love watching games in November, December, and January.
Me too.
A lot of people don't, Joe. A lot of people are like, and it makes sense because you got all the load management and things like that. But games like these, the NBA Cup games, we've seen players talk about it. We've seen players say it. It's an NBA Cup game. We've seen the teams and the coaches start to understand more now. I like it when you're up 25 points and you still got your starters in there because you're trying to beat them by 40 instead of just saying, "Oh, we won the game. Let's get out of here and pack it up and move on to the next game." And for the Grizzlies, I can't wait to ask Isalo about this because he has that soccer background in a way. He's a fan, of soccer, so he already has that automatic understanding of point differential and things like that. But yeah, look, Joe, this thing's so important that Luka Doncic himself, he was the original timeline that he was given to return. There was no chance he was supposed to be questionable for this game, but now he's been upgraded to questionable, which usually when a player gets upgraded to questionable the day before a game, tends to lean more towards they're going to play. But we'll see, how that situation works out. But Luka being back into the fold, Marcus Smart is also questionable for this game. There's a lot of things to kind of touch on with this game. You got the Marcus Smart, Jake LaRavia the other night, right? 10 of 11 shoot from the field, 27 points, 5 of 6 on three-pointers.
Jake LaRavia scares me a heck of a lot more than Marcus Smart. I want Marcus Smart to play.
And then now, and let me mention one more thing, just in general about the Cup. Joe, the Grizzlies got a chance to win their group this year. I know you don't even know.
I know you about how exciting this group is.
I know you don't even know who's in the group, but listen.
I have literally no idea. I haven't looked at all.
Now, Joe, you listen to these teams now, because at the beginning of the season, this didn't sound like that much of a winnable group. But based on the way the season has played out so far, you got the Los Angeles Lakers in this game. You're going to catch them without LeBron James. We'll see how the Luka thing plays out. But you got the Lakers at home. Then you got the Clippers, who have looked very meh. They have not looked as good. Old. Yeah, they look old. You got the Dallas Mavericks, who have not looked good. Yeah, then you got the New Orleans Pelicans, who the Grizzlies already put it on. So those are those all not winnable games, Joe? Tell me something. The boys could be in Vegas this year now. The Grizzlies could be. I'm just
This
saying.
is similar to last year. I am rooting for them to win the group stage for one reason and one reason only. And that is because it means my wonderful co-host and friend, Damichael Cole, gets to go to Las Vegas for the NBA Cup tournament. And I know that would be a lot of fun for you. And maybe I'll see if our bosses at Locked On Grizzlies can throw me a bone and just say, hey, Joe, you want to go to Las Vegas? Because I've always wanted to go to Vegas. So maybe I'll sniff around. You know what? I just had an epiphany. This is an opportunity for me and you, Damichael, to go to Las Vegas and watch basketball and do other Las Vegas things. I think I'm a fan of the NBA Cup now.
Oh, boy.
Let's go Grizzlies. Go win this game and win all of your
Mullinax
games
to Vegas.
so I can go to Las Vegas, #Joe to Vegas, and we can have a ball, and then the Grizzlies can lose before I lose all my money in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Oh, no, you're not. No, you're not.
I'm in.
No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not.
Michael, it hurts me that you think I'm not being genuine. I'm in now.
I can't
Is this
believe
because of the John Conchar scary thing earlier?
Yeah, for sure.
Damn it. Fair enough. Yes, you're fine. You're right. I'm very poor. I can't go to Las Vegas. The Grizzlies need to lose all of these games, so I don't have to watch these god awful courts. I don't have to see.
No,
all these
they count against the record now. You're gonna put them further down the standings. Just hate watching the NBA Cup.
You're right about that too. See, these should be exhibition games. They shouldn't count. Fine. I want the Grizzlies to win, but not enough that I have to watch these ridiculous courts for extended.
Just win every game by 1 point, so the point differential doesn't get them in.
Perfect.
Is that your
just
theory?
like I would have wanted them to do on a normal Friday night in October anyway? That's my kind of basketball, baby.
I can't wait to see if Luka plays. Because Austin Reeves has been one of the biggest stories. He's been one of the biggest stories in the league. And you talked about that lineup that the Grizzlies have. If Luka plays, this is the best challenge to date, with the fact that the Grizzlies, remember, they went from having Jalen Wells last season as the primary wing defender. We talked about all the good teams that have multiple dynamic wing scorers. Now in this game, you're going to see Austin Reeves and potentially Luka Doncic. Now you're going to definitely need this is where we're going to see if, what they did this offseason, going to get Cedric Coward, going to get Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to pair with Jalen Wells, because this is the type of game it could pay off.
Let us know on X. Hit us up in the comments at Damichael C, at Joe Mullinax. Are you excited for the NBA Cup game? Damichael's been working with me for too long. He saw through my facade there. Yeah, I want the Grizzlies to win. Of course I do. But I want to watch John Morant try to score 40 points instead of 38 against the Lakers tonight? I don't care about that. I subscribe to the Dominic Toretto philosophy. Whether you win by an inch or a mile, winning is winning. And that is what family is all about, as the Fast and Furious movies taught me. Thank you so much for being with us on this episode of Locked On Grizzlies. It is much appreciated, making us your first listen each and every day. For your second listen, go find Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Josh Lloyd hosts the #1 fantasy basketball podcast, giving you daily tips and helping you win your league, all while making you a smarter NBA fan. Find Locked On Fantasy Basketball on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Damichael, the next time we're together, it will be Monday. We will have basketball games to review, basketball games to preview. The season is in full swing. No longer are we in the dog days of the offseason. Lots of content to talk about each and every time an episode drops here at Locked On Grizzlies. Oh,
yeah. Lots of content to talk about coming up here. And we're about to get into the busiest part of the schedule for sure. By the time we are recording our next show, I believe the Grizzlies will have already played the Toronto Raptors as well. So things get really tough after that Raptors game. I believe, off the top of my head, I believe it's the Houston Rockets that are next after the Raptors. So we'll be, talking about that game, and then just the brutal stretch that comes behind that.
And hopefully some injury updates, right? Whether it's a Zach Edey, whether it's a Ty Jerome. Hopefully we start getting a little bit more of an update in the next few days over what their timelines might actually be. Make sure you're liking, commenting, rating, reviewing, subscribing wherever you get podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google, YouTube. Damichael and I appreciate you making our little corner of the internet, Locked On Grizzlies, just a little bit bigger and a little bit better each and every time that you hang out with us. Thank you so much for choosing Locked On Grizzlies each and every time that you do so. We don't take that for granted. We hope that you have a great weekend. Stay safe out there. Happy Halloween. Are you rocking a costume this year? You going to any parties, partner?
No, I'll be covering the Grizzlies.
Oh, they're not letting you wear costumes in the game? That's kind of lame.
I mean, I guess I could in theory.
Yeah, have a little fun. Live it up, Grizzlies PR. Let Damichael spin. Let him cook.
Yeah, I could.
I'm also working on a Friday night here in the fall, so I will also not be participating. But shout out to my owl, my witch, my Spider-Man, my 3 kids going out trick-or-treating. Hope they have fun with their mom, and I look forward to hearing all about how I missed all these wonderful childhood memories. On that happy note, have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy your Halloween. Enjoy Grizzlies basketball, and I will catch you next time, as will Damichael here on Locked On Grizzlies. See you.